I'm Sima Samar. I'm a medical doctor by training. I was refugee in Pakistan for 17 years, where I started an NGO called Shuhada Organization in 1989. The first hospital for women and children refugee, because nobody was talking about women, and schools for the refugee girls. And then I started projects in Afghanistan. I built hospitals, clinics, and schools. The NGO still works and builds schools still, and they run health services. We train a lot of female nurses and midwives, female and male, because we brought couples from very remote part of the country, either husband and wife or sister and brother. We train both of them in order to enable them to go to very remote part of the country and work. By empowering a group of people to give them training and give them livelihood, give them space within the society. And also we saved a lot of mother and infant life. Then we established a lot of schools. I went back to Afghanistan after 17 years of being refugee in Pakistan. I established the first Ministry of Women's Affairs with a lot of difficulties, with a lot of obstacles and challenges with the Mujahideen group and different militia group and armed groups in the country. After 6 months, I became the chairperson of the Human Rights Commission. In the Human Rights Commission, we did a lot of work on the human rights awareness raising and human rights education. So it was really a lot of work. We established a special investigation team that were looking at the civilian casualties in Afghanistan, and we documented every year. We had a strong role on promotion of women's rights, promotion of inclusion of women in different parts, including on the Constitution. We had the first elimination of violence against women law in Afghanistan with a lot of difficulties. We did a lot on the child rights. We criminalized the bachabazi, which was unfortunately not criminalized in the laws in Afghanistan. Bachabazi is they to get a young boy and make them to dance, and they misuse him, abuse him sexually. We did a lot of work on that front. Honor killing was not criminalized in the Afghanistan law. We were able to criminalize it and take it out of the privacy and private work. And we established ombudsman specifically for the national security forces, including intelligence, army, and police, to look specifically on their violation of human rights within the structure and outside of the structure for the civilian people. I established a university in Kabul, and we had a special program for women, empowerment department. We had the gender training, we had the peace training, we had human rights training, we had for the poor girls, we had scholarship. And then we actually had a lower rate of fees for the girls than the boys, because to give the possibility for the girls to get education. It's a male-dominated society. It's a conservative society. We're really trying to document the violation of human rights and remind people that normalization of human rights violation doesn't serve the humanity. And advocating for gender apartheid, which is applied by Taliban, to be codified as crimes against humanity. And I think humanitarian work and human rights work should not be politicized. Whatever we do, we have to put people first, and the human dignity first, rather than our own personal agenda. The culture of impunity is getting more and more prevalent everywhere. The aggression continues, unfortunately, in this age or this century. And I believe that still women are suffering. Women are counted in a lot of countries as second-class citizen. And lack of women's access to education and to reproductive rights is one of the big problems of humanity. I think we as a human being, we are so selfish, we just see our first step instead of looking at our children and our grandchildren. And I would say our generation, I keep telling the Afghan youth, I keep telling them that I'm sorry that our generation was not very productive. The amount of money that we spend everywhere on militarization could have a better environment for everyone. Sometimes when I'm getting too depressed, and that is really true, that the people who works on human rights and human rights defenders are minority compared to the one who violate. So this kind of gathering and seeing this kind of people and hearing about the work they do, I learn a lot and give me hope. I spend my entire life working on these issues. It's 50 years of my life fighting for equality, fighting for justice, fighting for accountability, documentation of violation of human rights. And looking at the situation in Afghanistan, for example, that to put yourself in the shoes of a mother who is willing to sell her 5-year daughter in order to feed the rest of the children. If she would have had choice to give a space for the children or the number of the children, she would have not been in this position. If there was no conflict, Afghanistan would have not been in this situation. We are suffering from climate change badly. It's a drought. And it's a humanitarian disaster. Currently, it's a government who practically put the female population of the country in prison. They cannot go to school beyond 6th grade. Women cannot walk. Their voice cannot be heard. Women have to be accompanied if they go. Imagine if a female doctor goes to the only sector that they allow women to work is medical sector. And then she has to be accompanied by her husband or brother or father, because not by cousin. It is really important to heal the wounds of the survivor and victims. And it gives you a self-confidence and a relief when you try to remember the victims. We have thousands of people who just missing. We don't know where is their grave and why they're taken, including my husband, for example. And I was only 23. And it doesn't matter where. But what is matter, it's a human, which we actually share the humanity. If it's in Sudan, if it's in Chad, if it's in your country, if it's in my country, if it's in Middle East, if it's in any other country, that is important. And then the documentation is really important for the future generation to know the impact of that kind of violence, and to try to keep them away from that kind of violence and non-repetition of the violence. It's really key. And I think it's a basic human rights.